Welcome back, yogis. Today's practice is to stretch and strengthen our hips, legs, and lower back. So roll out your mat and let's go. If you have any yoga blocks, you can place them at one end of your mat. Remember, you have 3 positions: the small height, the medium height, and the tallest position. So work with those and see what's best for you. We're going to start in child's pose. So come onto your knees. Open the knees wide, bring the big toes to touch. Try to lower the sit bones down to the heels and walk your hands out as far as you can take them. Bring your forehead down to the ground. If that's not available, place a block or a pillow or your hands under the forehead to stretch. Start the practice off today by breathing in through the nose and sigh out through the mouth. Just give yourself a few moments to settle down. We want to slowly move out of the mind and drop into the wisdom of the heart. You can start to find your ujjayi pattern of breathing, in through the nose and out through the nose. Rest the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And on the bottom of the exhalation, draw the belly up and in. Feel the ground beneath the hands and the knees, and start to let go. This is the time to peel away and undo. There's no more planning or creating or doing. Just letting yourself be here right now. Walk your hands a little further out in front of you. Press into all 10 fingers. Notice where you feel the breath expanding into the body. Slide the hands under the shoulders. Bring the knees together. And we'll rise up high onto the knees. Circle the arms out and around. Inhale. A little bit of a back bend, stretching the fronts of the legs. Exhale, slide the thumbs to the heart space, the psoas muscle. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Lengthen the tailbone down. Exhale, descend. One more time. Inhaling. And exhale. We'll lower back down into child's pose. So open the knees once again. Slide the hands out in front. We're going to come into the side of the body. Opening the side of the body helps the low back. So we'll walk our hands over to the right side of the mat. Place the left hand down and the right hand on top. Push down and forwards, and once again, try to descend the forehead down to the earth. We're breathing into this low back section, right beneath the ribs. Then you can work your way upwards towards the ribs. And just by taking these deep breaths, you start to open up the tight muscles on the back. Let's walk our hands over to the opposite direction. Right hand comes down. Left hand presses down and forwards as you descend. About 3 breath cycles here. And you can walk your hands back to the center of the mat. Look at your hands. See if you can walk them slightly forwards and rise up onto the knees. Bring the knees right under the hips. Keep the toes tucked under and we'll press up into downward facing dog. Lift off the knees, draw the belly in, push the chest back towards the thighs, and start to lift the sitting bones up towards the ceiling. You can walk the feet a little further back. Take a few breaths. You might want to pedal the legs down a little bit. You can come down onto the knees and stretch one leg back behind you. Look on the outside of your right hand and place your right foot down. We'll come into a lunge position here on the fingertips. So this is a nice place to bring your block if you find that your hips are tight or the back of your left thigh. Bring the hands onto the block, untuck the toes, and let your hips start to descend down towards the ground. We want to try to avoid rounding the upper back. So see if you can pull your shoulders away from the ears, starting to take a little bit of a back bend. Relax your mouth, lengthen the back of the neck. And we'll start to ease into these poses. You might prefer to bring the hands down onto the floor. Now feel your right knee and press your right knee into the right tricep or the side of the right arm. And let the back thigh descend a little further down. Then look at your right foot and notice if you're rolling to the edge. Try to press down into the inside and the outside of the foot. Now be sure you're not overstretching. Try to bring in the first yama into the practice, Ahimsa. Non-harming. So be kind and compassionate to yourself in your physical body, in your thoughts. Tuck the toes under. Let's come up off the back knee. And as you lift the hips, again, you might want the block under your hands. We're just going to do a little bit of a circular movement here on the hips, just massaging over to the right and over to the left. You can go 2 to 3 times each direction, clockwise and counterclockwise. Then from here, we'll start to walk the foot slowly. Tiptoe your right foot down towards the left knee, right in line with it. Now you can stay down on your left knee and come into a modified side plank position, or you can lift off the back knee and turn onto the pinky toe edge side of your left leg. Now press your feet and your thighs towards each other. Perhaps look up towards the shoulder and lift the right arm up towards the sky. Take a few breaths here. We begin to strengthen some of the core muscles now. Draw the navel in, lift the hips. You can really take the arm either overhead or to the shoulder or to the hip. One more breath. Then we're going to return into a plank position. Either stay in this plank or lower onto the knees and descend down. We'll come into a little cobra pose. Lift the chin and the chest. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. Take a nice long breath in. Breathe out. Remember to let go. Lift the left leg back and up. Again, you can come down onto the knees if you prefer. We'll step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. As the foot sets onto the mat, lower down the right knee. Press the left knee into the left tricep. Reach the chest forwards, descend the hips, untuck the back toes. Take a breath into those tight spaces. Just letting the mind come to this place of being in between, of thinking of the past, moving into the future, just being here right now. Can lift up off your back knee, and we'll take those small circles again, just pivoting forwards on the ball mound of the back foot. Find that spot that you can go to. It might be small circles, they might be larger ones. And then from there, you can either lower down onto the back knee and start to toe heel your foot. Left foot is going to make its way all the way down in front of the right knee. And from there, we come into this modified side plank, left hand to hip. Try to stack your left shoulder, lift up off the back knee, and spin onto the pinky toe edge side of your right foot. Curl your right toes back. Maybe look up, maybe reach forwards. Explore what's working for you, right? If your breath is unsteady, then set your knee down. Lower down, left hand, left knee, all the way down to the ground. Bring the forehead down to the mat, and as you come down to the mat, bring your arms down by the sides. We'll begin by lifting the heads of the arm bones up. Lift the arms up. Take a few breaths here, and as you do that, engage your legs. Try to press your pubic bone down. And we want to think of lifting the legs from the bottom of the glutes, from the inner thighs, instead of using the upper part of the glutes. And you might keep your legs down today. One more breath. and release. The hands can come right in line with the chest. Bring the forehead down, tuck the toes, lift back up, hands and knees, and push back, downward facing dog. Now you can bring the big toes to touch at the back of the mat, lift the right leg back and up, bend the leg, and open the knee out to the right side. As you do that, look under the left armpit. Try to find your right toes. Maybe make some circles with your right ankle, and drop your right shoulder down a little further. Right armpit pressing back towards the back of your mat. Straighten the leg behind you, square the hips, and bring the foot right down between the hands this time. We're setting up for warrior one. Bring the hands to the hips, squeeze the legs as you lift the chest. Sit down a little deeper, reach the arms out and up for 3 breath cycles. As you descend your front hip a little deeper, press your left heel down and back and turn the shoulders towards the top of the mat. 1 more breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Spin onto the ball of the back foot, come into plank pose. Knees can come on the ground for chaturanga. Upward facing dog this time. Lift off the knees, move the shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg back and up. Bend the leg first. Externally rotate the leg, knee goes out to the left, and then try to look for the toes under the right armpit. Press the left shoulder back. And maybe you feel a little tightness in your low back here. Breathe into that space, stretch the leg out. So square the hips, look for the left toes, drop the left hip down, the knee comes towards the belly, and foot down between the hands. Turn the back foot out, warrior one. Remember, any variation of the arms is just perfectly fine for you. Sometimes I take my hands to the shoulders to remind the shoulders to move a little bit towards the left. And then we want to push down, ground down through the left foot, push forwards through the left shin, and down and back through the right foot. Get this beautiful stretch through the right thigh. It's the psoas stretching, the quad as well. If your arms are up, we're going to lower them down to the ground. Exhale, plank pose. Of course, you can go to child's pose or downward dog instead. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. 3 breaths. As you return to down dog, returning to your intention for your practice. Positive thoughts. The right leg will reach back, keeping the hips square this time. Bring the foot down between the hands. Turn the back foot out. We'll rise up into warrior two. Stretch through the arms, strong back leg. Push your front knee out towards the pinky toe. Checking all those places. Bring your hands to your hips and just slowly start to turn your shoulders. And as you do that, you'll press down into your back toes, spin the heel up, you'll come into this lunge position. And we'll shift forwards, little step. Find your balance on this right foot and try to keep your hips square. Watch your shoulders, pull them back just like you did on the floor. Reach the arms back, palms facing up. Bring the chest forwards a little further, and we start to strengthen the glutes here. Can begin to lift the back left foot off the ground. And as you do that, try to lift from the bottom of the glute, from the inner thigh, and keep your right leg bent as long as you need to. Over time, you can start to straighten your right leg, but it's not necessary. Now from here, we'll set the left foot right next to the right foot. Inhale, reach the arms up. Take a little back bend. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart space. We'll come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend both of your knees. Sit down low, look to see where the knees are, and then reach the arms out in front. You can start with the arms horizontal, wrist in line with the shoulders, palms down. And then as you lift the arms higher over the time, turn the palms to face each other. Spread your toes. Sit a little deeper. Bring the thumbs together, reach up, stretch back. Urdhva Hastasana, open up the front side of the body. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Left foot steps back. Inhale, reach the arms overhead for a lunge. Exhale, bend the back knee a little tiny bit. Get a deep stretch here, right in the psoas muscle. Contracts from all that sitting through your day. Lower the hands down on the ground. And we'll walk the right foot again into our side plank, coming onto the left hand and the left foot. And then as you come back, we're just going to bring the sitting bones right down onto the ground. And we'll bring the legs out in front. Reach the arms up. And hands come down to the side. You can bring the left knee in, left foot to right thigh. Open up. Bring the right hand out towards the foot, the ankle, the shin. Stretch the left arm out and open. And reach the arm up and overhead. So we're getting right into the side of the body here. As you bend towards the right, roll your right chest towards the left. Press the top of the left foot down into the ground. Engage your right leg. Again, your left hand might be on your shoulder. Inhale to come up. And then exhale, we're just going to square the hips now. So I'm going to turn to face the camera. Square the hips, reach the left arm up, bring the right arm out to the side, and turn the chest towards the leg. So sternum is right in line with the thigh bone. Begin to hinge forwards from the hips. You can bring the hand to the bottom of the foot or the shin. Take a breath in and see if you can fold a little deeper. This time you'll pull your right hip back and your left hip forwards. Inhale, come up, and then we'll come right up into our plank pose and press back to down dog. Now take a moment here in down dog and feel how the legs are opening. Maybe you feel a little bit more warmth, some strengthening going on in the glutes and the thighs. You might feel some more space in the low back. And we'll move to the second side. So left leg will reach back and up, knee comes forwards, pull the belly in, and set the left foot down. Coming up into warrior two this time. Turn the back foot out. Let's rise up, right arm back, left arm forwards. Feels good to open up the hips, preparing yourself for the day ahead, or maybe stretching from your long day at work. Now bring the hands to the hips and spin onto the ball of the back foot. Little steps forwards, prepare yourself to shift. Take the arm bones back, reach the arms back. This might be where you stay right here. You can feel the outer left side of the glute is firing up. Come up onto your tippy toes of your right toes, and then maybe lift the leg. Drop your right hip down, lift your inner right thigh up. Hovering above, being strong and balanced. Rise up, bring the toes to touch. Reach up, inhale, little back bend. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Setting up for our second chair pose. Bend the knees, drop the hips, spread the toes, reach the arms to the place that's just right for you. And stand up, Urdhva Hastasana, fold to the earth, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift. Exhale and fold. Right foot steps back for our lunge position. Reach the arms overhead. Sit a little deeper. You can bend the back knee a bit. So for some of us, we might be leaning forwards a bit, and that's okay. The psoas becomes tight. It's hard for us to bring the shoulders over the hips. So just moving towards that position without arching the low back. So just drop the tailbone down a bit. Take one more breath, and you can lower the hands down to the ground. As the hands come down to the ground, toe heel your left foot back again into our side plank modification. And then you can lower right down onto your bottom. Bring the legs down in front of you, reach the arms up, bring the right knee in. Opening up for Janu Shirshasana. Stretch the right arm out to your right, left arm out to the left. Drop it down onto the shin, maybe the bottom of the foot, maybe the inside of the foot. Reach the arms up and over. So think of bringing the right hand towards the left toes. At some point, maybe not today or tomorrow or next week. I also like to try the back of my head, and then I can lean back and rotate the chest towards the right. You can feel the tight muscles in the back as you take a few breaths. Inhale, come up. Going to bring the knee closer in, so more of 90 degrees. Left hand goes out to the left, right arm rises up, hinge forwards. Chin towards the chest, inhale, lift and lengthen. So you have this dual action. Your left hip is moving back, your right hip is moving forwards. You can press your right hand into the bottom of your left foot, or if you have it on your calf, same thing. Find a little leverage. Inhale, come up, bring the knee forward, stretch it out in front, take a breath in. And then from here you can cross your legs, come forwards, hands and knees, come back into downward facing dog. You may feel more balanced. I'm going to finish the practice today with pigeon variation. So stretch the right leg behind you and then lower it down right behind the right wrist, moving the right ankle towards the direction of the left wrist over time. Walk the left toes back. Look over your left shoulder. See that your back foot is not sickled. Keep the back toes tucked under and the leg right in line with the hip. Walk the hands back. It's a good place for the block as well. Now again, press your feet down and together so you have this isometric movement, and then begin to lift from the pubic bone. Pull the belly in. As we pull the belly in, we stretch the psoas. Lift the navel, lift the heart, lift the gaze. We're strengthening the back body, opening the hips, and exhale, release. Can lift up off the left knee, press back, down dog. Going for the second side, left leg back, bring it forwards. Knee comes in line with the left wrist. As you bring your right knee down, just check your body, check your alignment. The more we do this, it becomes second nature. Over time, your ankle will move right behind your right wrist. Bring the block into effect. Press the feet down and together, and we begin to press the arms a little straighter. Feel the neck in alignment, so we're not crunching the neck back, we're not letting it hang down, we're lengthening the back of the neck. If you can visualize taking your hand and running it along the back of the neck, there would be no wrinkles at all. So you can feel this right hip dropping forwards and the left hip moving back. One more breath and release. So we can bring the right leg around to the front of the mat. We'll finish in a seated position here. Bring the knees together and the feet together. We're coming to boat pose, Navasana, to strengthen the legs now. Bring the hands behind the hamstrings, lifting the ankles. Bring them right in line with the knees if available, and perhaps release the hands, palms facing up. Lift the chin, lift the chest. Over time, you can start to straighten the legs. Straighten the arms, or keep them bent. Awesome job. Let's lower down onto the back now. So stretch the legs out, reach the arms in front, and slowly go all the way down onto the back body. I'll link a Shavasana here in this video, one of my longer versions. But for right now, we just have a few more moments. So if you're out of time, give yourself these few minutes here to let go completely now into one of the most important poses of any practice you do, Shavasana. Let the eyes close. Let the body get nice and heavy now on the ground. Find your inner gaze to your heart and let your breath fade away, off into the distance. You can start to move your toes and your fingers, your ankles, your wrists, just slowly coming back to your physical body, wiggling and moving breath by breath. Reach the arms overhead. Come onto your right or your left side. Pause for just a moment here before you lift upwards. And just give yourself a moment to ask yourself, how can you take the practice of Ahimsa to be non-harming to yourself, to others, to all beings? Maybe it's just starting with you, with positive, kind words to yourself to support you on your journey. You can push your hands and come up slowly. And we'll finish our practice in a nice, easy, cross-legged position. Remember that the real yoga begins when you leave your mat. As your hands come in front of the heart space, bring the fingertips to touch into Anjali Mudra. As if you're holding your heart in the palms of your hands. The wisdom of your heart, the compassion in your heart. Thank yourself for your practice. Let's bow our heads to each other, to you, and to all beings. Namaste. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Please return back to your mat each and every day so that you can live your best possible life. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe and share with a friend. See you next time.